If you've ever felt like your parents or grandparents had unrealistic expectations of you, this is a video that you can share with them. This is a video that shows mathematically that millennials have about half the purchasing power of the previous generation. It's not surprising that they're struggling more than other generations in history because they simply have less, and they need to work twice as hard to have the same standard of living that their parents and grandparents achieved. Today I want to talk about these goods and services that have outpaced inflation, and just how much more millennials are forced to pay for the same thing that their parents and grandparents bought. The one thing that most older people in America realize is that higher education has become significantly more expensive than it was in their time. Millennials are spending twice as much on higher education in the last 20 years, and 3 times as much in comparison to 30 years ago. Of course, another great challenge that faces millennials is the prices of housing and, of course, rent. The Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis shows that in January 1990, the median sales price for a new house was $125,000. In January 2018, this number has climbed to $329,600. When adjusting the 1990 price to 2018 dollars, you can see that there has been a 36% increase in the prices that millennials are facing versus what their parents spent on the exact same property. One thing that a lot of older people tend to fail to realize is that rent prices have increased astronomically. From the years 1950 to 2000, rent literally tripled in places like California, Florida, and New Jersey. Since then, rent prices have gotten even worse. In fact, in places like California, rent is easily 4 to 5 times what your grandparents paid for the exact same place. To put this in perspective, this is like your grandparents paying 10% of their check towards rent, and you spending 40 to 50%. In fact, in most places in California, people are spending 70, 80% of their paycheck. Some of them need multiple roommates to be able to just have a place. This was never the case with previous generations. Another area where millennials are struggling is water prices. From 1993 to 2007, water prices doubled on the West Coast. In some other areas, 30, 40, 50% more you're paying for water when adjusted for inflation. Another area that millennials are struggling is health insurance. Today, millennials are forced to pay double what their parents paid for the same insurance. Another area that millennials are getting hurt is the prices of pharmaceutical drugs. MIT did a study of pharmaceutical drugs on the leading cancer medications in America from 1995 to 2013. After adjusting these numbers to inflation, adjusted 2013 dollars, it can be seen that millennials are now spending 2.5 times more for pharmaceutical drugs than their parents just 20 to 25 years ago. Even parking is shown to be significantly more expensive for millennials than it was for previous generations. According to the Seattle Times, the average person paid $1 an hour in 1990 for parking. In 2011, that price has since risen to $4 an hour. When adjusted for inflation, younger people today are spending more than twice as much on parking than previous generations. As amazing as it sounds, even Disneyland tickets are astronomically more expensive for this generation than previous generations. According to the House of Mouse, in January 2004, the Southern California Select Annual Pass cost $99. The Southern California Annual Pass cost $129. Today, in 2018, these two passes costed $369 and $499 respectively. When adjusting for inflation from 2004 to 2018 dollars, both of these passes are almost 3 times as expensive. Yet another thing that is hurting millennials is toll roads. In 1995, there was 7,000 kilometers of toll roads in the United States according to the Bureau of Transportation Statistics. By 2015, this number had risen to almost 10,000 kilometers, representing an almost 50% increase in the amount of toll roads in America in the last 20 years. What most people don't realize is that small costs from toll roads can add up in a pretty big way. I grew up in Northern California, and one of the big sites up there is the Golden Gate Bridge. Back in 1989, the bridge cost $2 to go across. Today, the same bridge costs $7.75 if you're using pay-to-plate, and $6.75 if you're using Fast Track. Why are you spending twice as much proportional dollars to go across the same bridge? I hope this video brought some insight into your life. My goal is to just show you how much America has changed in a short period of time, and how a lot of people have failed to realize just how much it has changed. If you could do me a favor and subscribe to my channel, the next couple of my videos are going to focus on how this can be fixed and how this happened in the first place. Thank you for watching this video. Thanks for checking out my video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. New videos will be uploaded every Monday and Friday. Thank you for your support.